Hey, Tracy, give me 1 second. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, yeah. Let's pray. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Heidi from Pittsburgh, Judy Greensburg, and Ashley, how's it going? We're also out there in Allegheny Way. Penny, good to see you. Let me approve your message. That's really Shelly, good to see you. Jed and Shannon from Ford City and Armstrong County. Paulette, of course, from Buck City. And Ginger right here in Chambersburg area. And Robin, what's going on? You still got your top fan. That's fantastic. Hey, Sue. Still got the notification. That's great. Margarita from Katanning. And Dodie over in Schuylkill. Good to see you, friends. Linda also in Chambersburg. Kate, good to see you. Penny. A question about the ballot issues in May that we're voting on. Okay. Rosa from Strasburg. Shut that commercial off. Joyce, what's up in Ohio, Cincinnati way? Good to see you. And Mary from Du Bois. Jill from Pittsburgh. Good to see you. Wow, lots of friends out there. Angela over in Cranberry Township. And Vicky. Mark's asking about the Stickman ruling. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and start. I know we're early. Okay. This iPhone's seen better days. Wow. I don't know why it's splitting like that. Very interesting. Okay. Left the tea upstairs. You have to bear with me. And Sharon from Northampton. Okay. 4 ballot questions. First 2 I have great interest in because obviously, I was involved indirectly because it was Senator Kim Ward's legislation, these constitutional amendments, and she deserves the credit for that. But obviously, voting yes in the first 2 would limit. I'm on the Senate page, so I can't advocate. So I got to be in them, and rightly so. So first, there's 4 ballot questions. First 2 deal with the Constitution amendment regarding the governor's emergency powers. A no will on both of those will let the governor retain the powers that he has. It's 90 days of emergency powers, and then he can self-renew. So really, it's the limitation doesn't even matter, that he can renew anytime he wants to, when the 90 days expires without deference to the General Assembly. So no changes. So if you thought it was appropriate, I don't say like, that's the wrong word. If you thought the governor's extra powers over the past year was a good idea, then say no to both of those. But if you think the governor should have limited to 3 weeks and then he cannot self-renew. It takes a simple majority from the House and Senate to renew an emergency order, so it can't go on and on and on by one man, but actually 253 of us would have a say on it, which is closer to the people. Then you'd vote yes. So a yes on the first two limits the governor's powers. A no lets the governor retain the powers that he has in emergency orders. That's the first two. Once again, one of those amendments limits to 3 weeks, and the other one says the governor cannot renew them himself, but it requires a vote from the General Assembly. Okay. Number 3 is added protections. I don't know why. I got my staff looking into this, but apparently is there a problem in the Pennsylvania Constitution for number 3? Number 3, I won't even say strengthens, reaffirms the protections on race and ethnicity that I believe exists in our Constitution. So it's a yes or no. Do you want these protections reaffirmed? I don't see how it's increasing it at all. If somebody please explain to me if I'm wrong. I'm okay with hearing from you if I'm wrong on this here, but I am like on face value, it looks good. Obviously, I'm very cautious after what happened, with the voting reforms, and so you're going to have to decide on this channel here, on the Senate page, on the YouTube page. I can talk about whatever I want, but I have the live feed on my iPhone, obviously, on the Senate page. You're going to have to decide on all 4 what you want to do. First 2 in emergency orders, limiting governor's power, yes on the first 2, or no. Or you can vote any combination thereof. Number 3 talks about that you can't be mistreated or prejudiced based off of race and ethnicity. And number 4 is about loans to fire and EMS. So just trying to figure out. So number 3 was added as an amendment by the Democrats onto the first 2 constitutional questions. So that was thrown in. I mean, I vaguely remember that. We are taking a look back to try to get to the bottom of it. Okay. Yeah, so my perspective, I don't see where there is weakness. I don't see where there's a weakness on the protections that Pennsylvania offers people based off of race and ethnicity. Actually, Pennsylvania's constitution and Pennsylvania itself was ahead of the nation as far as all liberties and rights and abolishing slavery. I don't know why this hat is crooked, but I haven't worn it much, so. And then number 4, I'm trying to really get my arms around. So if anyone out there has some input on these, I appreciate it. I see some comments on there. Okay, so there was another question out there. I'm going to scroll back to see that. Oh, Judge Stickman's ruling. As you remember, last September, Judge Stickman at a Butler County federal judge ruled against the governor's extreme constitutional powers and infringements on your rights, references the Pennsylvania and U.S. Constitution. He with his rules by fiat, by dictation, he infringed upon people's rights without it infringed on people's rights, especially reference to their businesses. And it was a sharp rebuke. It was appealed to the Third Circuit by the Wolf administration, and the Third Circuit, hasn't heard it, and they put a stay. So yes, Judge Stickman, we read your decision, but we're not going to. The Wolf administration said, "Oh, we're in a crisis, and we can't have this, until these emergency shutdowns torn away prematurely." So anyway, the Third Circuit, I don't know why that's not being heard. Okay, that's that. As far as what else we have here, obviously, my Senate Bill 471 turned out, sadly, to be a bit timely because of the suspension by the CDC of one of the vaccines by Johnson & Johnson because of reactions. It's only been reported I guess it was six ladies that got blood clots. Obviously, we're postulating, wondering if there's a lot more that we haven't heard about yet. Don't know, but you should always have the say of what goes in your body, right? But I even have to say that these times and still get pushed back just is mind-boggling. And so thankfully, my op-ed regarding this has gone out across the state. Several news outlets have picked it up, and hopefully it will gain a little momentum, and that will get run. There's no guarantees. There's a lot that goes into running these bills. Other bills introduced over the past week, strengthening the open records law. This is something I've introduced. It was based off the work of a previous senator, and you could go to Senate Bill 488 and see the details. It's a package that provides much needed updates and revisions of Pennsylvania's right to know law, improves transparency and accountability, and especially in regards to the governor's handling. He for most of the past year, his right to know office has been closed, not responsive. And it's interesting that in the Senate and House we get right to know requests. Oftentimes from a lot of sources, especially media, we have to respond by within the 30-day window. Had they been as responsive by the governor's office, you'll have to ask them. Just curious, but we've had trouble getting answers. But that's that. This will increase transparency. The right to introducing, hopefully this week here, the Right to Bear Arms Act will be introduced. Basically, it prohibits the enforcement in Pennsylvania of any new federal restrictions and prohibitions regarding firearms, magazines, and ammunition. And it also prohibits the use of state and local resources to enforce any new executive orders, etc., from the federal government. Obviously, we're close to the introduction of a Poll Watcher Empowerment Act, which will strengthen the protections of poll watchers to also increase transparency. I don't know why this is an issue. We always want to have transparent government, right, and elections. A social media accountability act, maybe this or next week, basically increases your protections within Pennsylvania if these giants want to shadow ban you, as they are doing with me right now. I see my numbers are below 1,000. Please do personally share that page so we can circumvent the shadow banning. Okay, and there's some others here, but like for instance, I have a constitutional amendment that would allow the General Assembly to meet in December of every 2 years, because as we saw this past December, we were out of session all month, and only the governor could bring us back under emergency orders. There was a fierce debate, discussion, and dialogue, with the attorneys and others on whether we could, unilaterally just gather somewhere. And the arguments were against that. Just better changing so that we're never at a session like that again. So anyway, thank you, my friends, for tuning in. I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here. I pray a blessing over each of you in our states. Stay encouraged and stay blessed. For a good chunk of the state, obviously the weather today took a turn. Yesterday was fine for a good chunk of the state. Get out as much as you can and enjoy the fresh air, and that's healthy, and that will obviously, that and a good diet and supplements, may help you in these strange times. But you should always have a say in what goes in your body, and that's a debate that's really mind-boggling. I can't believe the very basic and elemental discussions I end up having sometimes, and keep on hitting the repeat button on discussions on voting reform and the changes in 2019. What went wrong? I mean, I think we talked about that quite a bit. So I'll be on Newsmax tomorrow at 2:30. I probably have like an 8-minute segment or so. So anyway, God bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and saddle up right now, and hopefully see you tomorrow. Take care.